Welcome to this video. My name is Kurt Kaplan with the law and accounting firm Crest here in Las Vegas. And today's video is going to be talking about what is estate planning all about. So let's get started. Estate planning, when people come in to see me, they always come in with the idea that who they're going to give their stuff to after they die. While that is a very important part of estate planning, it's only just one part of the estate plan. People seem to forget about how are we going to plan for events, life-changing events that occur while we're living. And a life-changing event while we're living is incapacity. Who is going to be able to decide healthcare matters for us when we cannot? Who's going to be able to decide financial matters for us when we cannot? Those are addressed in this office if we do estate planning for you in a couple ways. So let's break it down piece by piece so you have a better understanding. Healthcare planning in our office addresses who is going to decide healthcare matters for you when you cannot. These documents will also help minimize or eliminate any type of guardianship court involvement if you become incapacitated. If you've already pre-selected the individual to make those decisions for you, then there's no reason for the guardianship court to be involved. Or if it gets involved, then you can minimize how involved the guardianship court will be over you during that situation. So in healthcare planning, we have 4 documents that we draft in this office. The first one is called a directive to physician. It's also commonly known as a living will. And that document essentially is a letter to the doctor saying to the doctor, if I'm incurable, irreversible, let me go. Don't do anything else. Keep me off, take me off the respirator, etc. You can also provide in that directive to physician direction in regards to whether you want hydration and nutrition withdrawn from your body. The next document that we help people draft in this office is what is called a durable power of attorney for healthcare. And in that document, you grant other people to decide matters for you when you cannot. You can also grant authority to them to make life and death decisions for you. Help them talk to the doctor to say, hey, enough is enough. Let this person go. You can designate that in your document. A third document that we draft falls out of the United States Code annotated. That is a document called a HIPPA release. That's the Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act. And in that document, you're releasing healthcare providers a right to talk to individuals that you name in the document so that people can ask questions of your healthcare provider. Well, then you probably are asking, if I have a durable power of attorney, why do I need a HIPAA release? Good question. This is the reason why. In Nevada, the physicians and healthcare providers will accept your waiver that's in the healthcare durable power of attorney. But as soon as you leave the state of Nevada, those healthcare providers may not accept the waiver provision that's in there. They don't think that there's enough protection for them. So I've drafted a HIPAA release so that if you travel out of the state of Nevada that you can show this HIPAA release to the healthcare providers. Since it's a federally based law, it applies throughout all 50 states and the territories of the United States. The fourth document that we draft is mostly a registration document that Nevada residents can register with the Secretary of State their healthcare documents and place them at the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State will then send back to you a registration statement that has a URL and a code in there that you can place into the URL when you get there, which is a Secretary of State URL. And you can actually download all of the documents, your healthcare directives, so that your healthcare provider would be able to make decisions for you when you cannot. And a good example of that is if you happen to be in an auto accident, the paramedics will be looking in your wallet or your purse to see if you have that document where they can actually call ahead and say, hey, here's this individual's code, go to Secretary of State, pull down the documents. So while you're being transported to the hospital can be downloading the documents and contacting the people that you've named in your healthcare directives to decide matters for you when you cannot. Makes it really easy and simple for people to find out and to help you out. The next thing that we talk about during life is who is going to manage your assets when you become incapacitated. Now there's 2 ways that can be done, and it depends if you're doing some sophisticated planning or not. At the lower end of planning, you can have what's called a statutory form power of attorney. That gives the person that you name in that document the authority to make financial decisions for you when you cannot, such as over your bank account, sell your car or your home if need be, gain access to your IRA if need be, if you need money to pay for medical expenses, living expenses, and etc. That's at the lower end. If you do some higher end planning, we will also add what's called a revocable living trust. And all the assets that are titled in that trust will be governed by the trust document and what's said therein. And the person you select to be your successor trustee when you cannot serve as your trustee of your own trust will then manage those assets in the trust for your benefit. So during life, you will do healthcare planning and you will do financial planning. Then after death, that's when you can plan to have a will that says, upon my death, pay these people through the probate process. Or if you have a trust, your trustee will, through the language that's in the trust, manage the assets in the trust, pay your creditors, pay any administrative expenses, and then afterwards, pay to whom you specify in that trust. That is very important that you will be able to specify who will manage those assets for you when you cannot during life, and then who, after you're dead, who will manage those assets. I hope today's video helped you understand life planning and death planning. That is the purpose of estate planning here. If you have any questions, please call me. My phone number is 702-202-4153.